Alright, boys, welcome to day 11. We're doing this live. I'm gonna bring this over to YouTube, so I'm gonna be starting my live streams on YouTube as well, along with Twitch. But this is day 11 of the bootcamp. Today is about how to handle losing products or like failed products. So, whenever you would, and this is part of everyone's journey, so today is more about the mindset and, like how to handle these sort of problems, because this is one of the most common problems for pretty much everyone who are either starting or transitioning from a product to another. So let's say you're starting from nothing. This is your first product, and you tend to see it going viral. You have no clear proof of concept whether it's going to work or not. So you get excited, you get all the dopamine, you see the engagement, the views, and it's most likely like a pump and dump product with not much value. So you would run it, and in a matter of like maybe a week or two, you would get some views. If you're already experienced, then most likely you're gonna go viral, and then guess what? You're gonna go down. So that's how pretty much every pump and dump product is. You pump them in very short period of time, but on the other hand, there's an equal force, which is the downside of it. So you would get quick attention because it's currently a trend, and if the product is approved, it actually provides some value, you market it in a proper way, and you convinced your customers to actually buy it, or your viewers to buy it, then you're gonna make quick money here and then dump the product. But the problem is, although I say quick money, this is what everyone makes you wanna, like, this is what the image that everyone tries to create for people who are not in the game, not in the space. In reality, this is like 1 in 20 products. So this is the short scale. So this is for one product versus another table for 20 products. So you would have to go 20 times, okay, until this one product which is the golden product, and this is what will most likely make you money, and then the rest are just gone. You know what I mean? So that's the reality. This is what it is, and this is what the expectation is on the left side. So I want you, I mean, obviously, if you have made it to day 11, and especially if you have tried testing products previously, then you're gonna know that this is how it is. And for that reason, we are doing a completely different way. However, I still like nowadays, especially with Q4 being very close, I have this urge of testing some pump and dump products, but they are not the average pump and dump product. They're actually more of high value pump and dump products. So I'd explain. They are in the category of a pump and dump product because they are a seasonal product. So you would only run them during Christmas, for example. These are acceptable, but you still need to be really advanced to perform well with them, because I'll tell you one thing: with seasonal products, you need to be testing them up to 4 months prior. And for that reason, like on my 2 days of product research in this bootcamp, I've shown you a lot of examples of Christmas products. They were advent calendars. And the reason I'm mentioning this right now is because they have been running these products since like last month, literally. So that's 3 to 4 months prior to Christmas. Okay? And that's how it is. If you want to run seasonal products, which are, by the way, pump and dump products, so I'm just going to write seasonal. So 3 to 4 months prior the event, that's how you go for marketing these sort of products. Why? Because obviously shipping times, and two, to allow yourself to have enough time to go viral, so that you can get all the attention, funnel it to your website, they purchase, and then finally you ship it, right before the event, which is Christmas or Halloween, whatever. So this is one of the few exceptions of pump and dump products which I would run, and I'm very inclined to testing them this Q4. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to show you in this bootcamp some of my products and even the way I film them, the website, because I'm trying to make this as transparent as possible. But if you know me by now, I don't like to test a lot of products. I like to pick carefully a few products which are proven to work, whether they're old or new, and then introduce them in a new way to the market, new trends, different angles, and then blow them again and go viral. So, with this being said, for the sake of the bootcamp, I'll do my best to get a side product which I could show. And by side product, I mean a golden pump and dump product, so a seasonal product. Now, this is one of, if you're wondering what sort of pump and dump products could you run apart from seasonal products, then the other category, so we're gonna put this under, there's a criteria for exceptional pump and dump products. And why does this, why am I including this on day 11? Because today is about handling losses. So what to do when you have just tested a product and turns out it's one of these failed products, one of the 20 products. What do you do next? So for you to not even be in this situation where you're failing with these products, I'm starting off by giving you this list so that you would pick better quality pump and dump products. Okay, so you would increase the chances of finding this. So one is that's an example, seasonal products. Okay, that's the first type of pump and dump. The second one is easy, so high value and then low barrier of entry products. So in other terms, side products. Okay, just like you have a main product, you're gonna have side products, and these are personally my only exception. Like, this is the only time where I would run a pump and dump product where it is a side product. There's a lot of examples like poo. Okay, so poo was one of these side products which I didn't run, by the way. I thought at the time it was a very dumb product, but the reason I'm mentioning this because there's a lot of people who were making 6 figures with their main products, but they still decided to run this product because it was the trend at the time, and it takes you like 20 minutes per day, you know? So you just record it one time, post it, you go viral. The equivalence to this trend last year to now is actually the what's it called? The rugs or the blankets. So these two, I think now the first one is no longer a trend. Now it's more towards the carpets. So obviously, like, you would pick a niche, a very passionate niche, and then run it. These are some of the side products which I would run. Why? Because very emotional. So what do I mean by emotional? Not sadness, but nostalgia. They're using nostalgia, which is a very strong emotion. Literally, corporate games, video games are using nostalgia right now to make a lot of money by selling. Literally, if you know World of Warcraft, you're gonna know what I'm talking about here. So I used to stream that game. Literally, they're re-releasing games from 2004 because of nostalgia. So the same way, we're gonna use this emotion to our products, which is, in most cases, they're gonna use a niche as an inspire. Like, for example, let me give you a quick one. So Shrek inspired blankets. A lot of people would recognize Shrek, so they would buy it, you know what I mean? Because of nostalgia. So these products are very easy to record, takes you minimal time, minimal effort, and they have high potential of making you sales if done properly, if marketed properly. So these are the only two exceptions of pump and dump. There's obviously more. I'm just gonna, okay, let me include it. Today, I mean, I've mentioned this in my previous days, but I'm refreshing your mind. So if you've watched the previous ones, I hope you would know what I'm about to say here. The third one is one product, infinite angles. For example, the projector. So it's a pump and dump product. You could order it from Amazon, but you could use it for any angle. So these are realistically my three exceptional pump and dump products I would run. And if you are going through this phase, okay, so let's say you just found my channel and you've been going through this phase of testing random products, I would highly recommend you stick to these three for your next pump and dump, or go the hard route, which is the custom product, which is more brandable, easier to brand. Then you're gonna increase your chances, but at a cost. The cost is it's way harder to go viral. Oftentimes it's like you have very minimal competition, maybe a few people who are dominating the market, and then you have to compete with them. So, and it's really hard to source these sort of products. So yeah, it comes at a cost if you want to go for custom products, but the reward is even bigger. So all in all, I literally just explained the entire game for you guys once again, and this was put in a very good way so you guys can, if you haven't known about this, you would be aware, and if you have watched my previous ones, you would be refreshed. You would be reminded of these key points. So now, next question is how to handle these losses. Let's say you have run one of these products and it failed. Well, that's where people quit, and that's where people are emotional and they don't know what to do next. So my best advice is, if you do what I said in the start of this bootcamp, which is do 30 to 60 minutes. Let's put it somewhere here. So 30 to 60 minutes, and this is bare minimum, of product research per day. Okay? If you are doing this every single day, regardless of what product you're running, so while you're running one of these products, you're still doing the product research. This way you're gonna always be aware of what's trending, what's a good product, what's a bad product, following the criteria which I've shared. So with that in mind, you'd have a list of winning products, so that whenever you fail with a product, you would have literally a new product arriving by the time you quit the previous one. Or worst case scenario, you refund the old one, like return it to Amazon or whatever, order a new one, and then start testing again. So that's why this is very crucial for two things. Always be able, being able to jump to the next product if you want to go for these pump and dump products, or so for products, and then the second one is for ideas, for concepts, formats. So if you're starting to go viral, the research will actually help you with that. And from a mindset perspective, so now I've shown you all of the, the dropshipping side of it. Now the mindset side of it is, you need to obviously be emotionless. So whenever you fail with a product, think about it as you didn't lose, you gained a lesson. And that's by far the best way to think about anything in terms of failure. So obviously everyone's gonna go through this phase, which is failing at a bunch of products until something pops off, and then they call it an overnight success. Literally, in every space, there's the same concept, which is trying infinitely with no results, and then one day everything changes. That's how it is for this space. So adopt this mindset of just taking the lesson. And when should you reflect? Right when you want to shift the product, you need to ask yourself brutally honestly, what went wrong? So if you went viral, you need to ask yourself, why did I not convert? Was it Was it the video? So it didn't have a CTA, so no call to action, people didn't know you're selling it? Or was it the website? Was it the offer? Okay. Was it the social proof? You didn't have enough reviews? You name it. There's many reasons to why you didn't convert. Or obviously the third one, which is the product was just bad. So product was bad. So you need to reflect, self-analyze after every failed product. Think about it brutally honestly, like be brutal with yourself and figure out what was the reason, because once you find the underlying reason to why this didn't work, you're not gonna do it again for your next product. So oftentimes it's gonna be the product. I'm gonna be real with you. I've generated over 50 million views with dumb products, didn't convert, maybe like something very minimal. I just moved on. I took the experience, I took the one thing which nobody talks about is you become familiar to it. This is one thing which is really important. So even if you got one sale, so you got your first sale from a product which you got 10 million views on, that's still a win, because now you know how it feels to get a view, get a sale, and you know how to deal with high stimulus or being overwhelmed, overstimulated with attention. A lot of people, they get too like overwhelmed to the point where they cannot function properly, like they don't know how to think under control. So okay, I'm going viral, what do I do now? Should I fix the offer, fix the prices, fix the website, something, you know, you need to do something. So going viral is one thing, and then applying or, you know, funneling this attention to getting sales is another thing. So yeah, gain a lesson, write it down after every failed product. This way you will look at it in a different way. So no matter how long you took to test these products, you're always going to have a positive thing out of them. And on the other hand, so this was if you went viral and you didn't make sales. The better side is often when you didn't go viral. So let's say you tested a product and it didn't go viral. Once again, you need to ask yourself, and most of the time you need to be accountable, be honest, which is going to lead you to the fact that your content was bad. So if you didn't go viral, it's probably your content. For that reason, you need to either change the product to something you are better at recording for, or just practice more, you know, get better at it, because that's the number one reason to not going viral. Apart from, you know, the trends and following the formats which works, there's a lot of underlying reasons. So let's recap real quick. Number one, to handle else, handling failed products. One is be unemotional. Take the lessons, okay? Two, don't lose momentum, because it's all about momentum. Trust me, if you were testing two products at the same time, or let's say you're testing one product and then because of your product research, you have found another product which is arriving tomorrow, and then the first product is not working anyway, you're not gonna feel the pain of dropping the first product because you have this momentum. Oftentimes, when do you feel this crippling emotion is when you stop. Just like anything in life, you need speed. So always be jumping from one task to another, one product to another. You just need to always be busy, because that's how you actually get closer to what you want. Honestly, like this is the number one reason. And thirdly, environment. Once you surround yourself with the right environment, you're gonna realize that what you're going through here, which is often the lonely chapter and a lot of time wasted testing products, nothing's paying off, you're gonna realize you're not the only one. Because oftentimes what happens is you're going through this phase and then you're comparing yourself to everyone you're watching who are making 10K days, 100K months, whatever. and you're gonna think that it's you problem. It's not. I mean, you gotta be accountable. Obviously, there's factors which are done by you, but the bigger picture is everyone goes through this phase. For that reason, put yourself in an environment which is gonna keep you accountable and keep you um, realistic with how the game is. Okay, so you wouldn't get sold to the fake get rich scheme. And yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. Let me see the chat if there's anything, any questions you guys have. This is supposed to be a very short stream. Let me see. Okay, we've been live for 29 minutes. So yeah, let me see. Is there any other points which I've not mentioned? Now let me talk about if you are testing a custom product, because what I just broken down was mainly for pump and dump products. Okay, if you're testing a custom product, which is often like this, so I'm gonna consider you're good at filming. So here are the views, and here's time. If you find the exact product which you want, and oftentimes it's hard to find custom products which like are actually exactly what you want. Once you find them, which might take you like a week or whatever, if you're good, I would expect you to actually go viral in a matter of a few weeks. And this is by following viral formats or viral formats, ideas. At this point, you should already be making sales. Otherwise, if you are still trying to figure out how to go viral and your content is not on point, you don't have much experience with this product and how to film it, oftentimes it's going to be like this. Okay, so instead of that, it would be, I think it just bugged. Let's refresh. You get the point. That's actually what happened with one of my first winning products. It took me a very long time before I started seeing a big flow of attention and sales and everything. I think the main reason was, okay, this for some reason taking too long. Interesting. So as I was saying, you need to focus on the formats and your skill. So how can you replicate winning formats? It's all about your skill. Sometimes it's not about the products, it's about how you film and you edit and just finding trendy sounds and formats. So for that part, it's also gonna be discouraging. It will literally feel the same way as here. So at least here you're testing a product and then dumping it in a matter of like a week or two. While as here, if you find a product which is custom and you're like all in on this thing, then oftentimes you're setting a realistic 3 to 6 months. Or let me be more simple with it. Let's say 1 to 3 months. Okay, so let's say you're setting this duration for this product because you know it's actually going to work if you do the work, compared to pump and dump, which is like 1 to 2 weeks. So it's actually gonna feel the same way when you're like not getting any results compared to, you know, not getting sales from your viral content from a pump and dump. At this point, how do you tackle this? You need to step back, okay? Oftentimes you need to analyze the work you've done here. So let's say you post it for 2 weeks. You need to be rational. Take this content, check what had the highest amount of views, check the analytics, how many seconds did people watch, was it the hook? Like you need to analyze, was it the hook which made it perform better than others? Was it the overall hand movement, the environment, the background, the lighting? You need to write it down, literally just break down the video from A to Z, figure out why did this get more than the others. And by the way, this is literally what I did for my own winning product, I had one piece of content which had like over 100k views in a matter of 5 months. I took this piece of content and then I split tested it. I re-recorded it. I improved it in every single way, and that's how I got my first mill, and so on. That's what you need to do when you're stuck. Check your best performing content, analyze it, improve it, repost, or like post a better version. Next, this is the first tip. The second tip, you need to step back, do your product research, find formats or trends which are relatable to your product. Even if it's a different niche, if it's something you can replicate for your own product, do it. Okay? That's the second one. Third one, have someone to see your content. Okay? If you have, this is real. The eye, you need to have the eye of like figuring out whether your content is actually good or not. Because even now, looking back at my content from 1 year ago, terrible compared to now. So every year, this is with everything, by the way, literally any sort of skill, whether it's painting, drawing, whatever it was, designing, you're gonna realize that you're old, and that's a good sign, by the way. This means you improved. So whenever you look back at your previous work and you see that it was terrible, that means you've improved. But this gives you the better picture is that if you have someone who's already an expert that is looking at your content while you are at the moment of failure, or like of this, not seeing success or results, that's where they could tell you what to do and then fix it, and that's where you go up. So these are my top 3 tips on how to handle these sort of losses, because these are literally the same frequency as this. They would cripple you if you don't tackle them. So that's my advice for today. And yeah, I think that's enough sauce for day 11. So hopefully you guys can now tackle your failed products more efficiently. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching. See you on day 12. Peace out.